This will be a day long remembered. Now I am the master.
Welcome to another episode of Legends and Theories, and welcome to my review of the DC Animated Movie Universe Batman films. Yeah, this is a video I think I pushed off for like nearly a month, if not half a month. And with it, I've either haven't had the time to record it, since I thought it was going to be a longer video, since I'm reviewing 4 films in this, or I wasn't feeling good enough to record it, like last week. And with it, I'm going to just try and keep it brief because I'm tired of pushing this video off. So let's go straight into it, and I'll be reviewing the films Son of Batman, Batman vs. Robin, Batman Bad Blood, and Batman Hush. And this is probably going to be one of the more diverse reviews I do, since this has some that I like and some that I completely hate. Well, it's not completely hate, but some of them I hate a really good part of it. But I'll talk about that in a minute, so let's go into it. Starting off with Son of Batman, it's a really solid film. We have our first introduction of Damian Wayne, and with him, I think that he is a good character in it. He's definitely not my favorite Robin, but I still enjoy him overall. I think that they did a good enough job setting him up and evolving him for this. And yeah, looking at it, it was interesting to see everything going on here with him fighting Deathstroke, and the relationship between the characters were set up well and definitely got involved more and more throughout the films, and I think they did a good job with it. And yeah, with the film, I don't know, I have too much more to say. Deathstroke was an interesting villain. It's also cool to have characters like Talia al Ghul appear, and besides that, I don't think there's much more for me to say. Moving on to the second one, Batman vs. Robin. I think this is a good one adapting Court of Owls. It's not my favorite adaptation in here, but at least it's a lot better than Hush, which we'll get to in a minute. And just to go into it, I think that they did a good job with the film. It's definitely not the best one, but it's enjoyable, and I think Talon serves as an interesting villain in it. Although they could have had things a little cooler with them going against the full Court of Owls and not just Talon. I still think that it's a good enough storyline for me to not be completely furious with it. So with it, we have the ideological struggle between Batman and Robin, which was sort of set up in the first film, where we get to see just how they see so differently on killing, and Damian's pushing closer and closer to killing again, but he eventually is moved back, and that was all really nice and interesting. I think it was also pretty cool. Moving on, we have Batman Bad Blood. And this is probably the most interesting, unique, and fun out of the 4 films. And with it, we have Batman missing for most of the movie, and it's more of a Bat family story. And I really like that. We get just development for everyone, and with it, we get to see how they change and how everything is going on with it. And I think they did a good job with it. I was really interested to see how it went, and one thing I think may have been a little disappointing was the evil version of Robin, who was pretty simply killed off. I think he actually goes and kills Damian Wayne in the comics. So, but they already do that in Apocalypse War, and although that didn't come out yet, I still think that it is interesting, and I really did enjoy the film. I think it is probably the best of these four, and is definitely the most unique one, being more of a Bat family story than a Batman one, since he's presumed dead for like a third of it. We know he's captured for another third, and he's brainwashed for like most of like the other third of the movie, and really only has full control again right at the end. So that is interesting to see. And just moving on to the final film, one that is nearly an amazing film if it wasn't for the terrible ending, and that is Batman Hush. And for most of the film, it's a pretty good adaptation of the Hush storyline. We have the mystery, we have, with a few exceptions of small changes, basically all the events happening from the comic. But then we get to the moment that completely ruins the film and turns this from a good film to a terrible film. And unlike The Killing Joke, which has a terrible introduction to it, but you can at least skip that, you cannot skip this without destroying the story. I mean, technically destroying the story a little less, but you just leave yourself on a cliffhanger and just have to pretend what happens. And with it, we have the fact that Thomas Elliot is not Hush anymore, and is now the Riddler, who, although he did help Hush, Hush was Dr. Thomas Elliot, and they did this entirely just to have shock value, and it doesn't work, once the second time you watch it. And there's been so many of these ones that were adapted into films from comics that were so great. Dark Knight Returns, Batman Year One, and more. They could have just had another slam dunk here. And for most of it, I was loving the film. But that ending, it was so bad, it ruined the rest of the film. And this is one of those exceptions where a bad ending could really, really ruin a good movie. Because this basically went from first place to last place in these films just because of the ending. And with some films, I'm a little more willing to overlook it. With this one, and knowing what it could have been, I was just so angry and I hate it so much that I just have to give it last place. And probably the worst one in the entire universe. But yeah, with this, I want to know what you think of these films. Please let me know in the comments. And I'll see you all in the next episode of Legends and Theories. Thank you for watching this episode of Legends and Theories. Please subscribe, like the video, share the video, leave a comment, check out the video on screen, and may the Force be with you.